So in this video, I'm going to show you what dimensions we recommend if you're if you're deciding to build a media wall with a 100-inch screen TV, or if you're having someone else build it. Now, up here, this one has, of course, a TV. This is on an 8-foot tall wall. You have a TV. We decided to put a soundbar insert, which looks nice. And then, of course, you have your fireplace at the bottom. Let's get over here. Typically, a 100-inch screen TV, it's about 88 inches wide, 50 to 51 inches tall. What you want to do is, of course, you're going to put the TV recess, which looks a lot cleaner, into the frame, into the build. You want to have at least a 1-inch gap all the way around. Like I said, this one's 88 inches wide, make it 90 inches. Got 1 inch on each side of gap, just enough enough reveal to put your finger and pull out the TV. You want to make sure it's on a full motion mount. So like right here, it's on a full motion mount. Show a little bit more of that later. Now you have of course, like I said, the fireplace. You got your soundbar insert. Now because of the height, this is an 8-foot tall ceiling. You don't want everything to be crunched together. You kind of want to do it proportional, so you kind of want to space it out. So this one, we started at 8 inches from the ground. You got the fireplace. This fireplace is 19 inches tall. They usually run from 17 to 20 inches tall. You have a soundbar insert. Now, one recommendation for the soundbar insert is that I always recommend the bottom part, from the bottom of the soundbar insert to the fireplace, to be wider, to be taller, to have more space here than up here. So like if this were 2.5, you want to have 2.25 up here. If this were 3.5, you could probably have three up here. This one, of course, is 3, and it's 2.75 there. We always like to have the soundbar insert a little wider than the soundbar, because you can actually put remotes here. You can put your TV remote here, and you can put your soundbar remote there as well. Now the depth of these, this one is, I think, 10 inches. We typically like to keep it at 10, no less than 8. For that, and I'll explain more in a little bit. You want some surface area, of course. I wouldn't do any less than 6. We kind of like 7.5 to be the sweet spot, and you don't really need more than 10 inches. 7.5 is our sweet spot right there. Now from the bottom, from the floor to the opening of the TV, it's about 36 inches. That leaves enough space up there. It doesn't look that doesn't look too high, the TV up there. Now let me show you what I was showing earlier. Right here, what we like to do is we like to do this setup right here. Now the reason we like to do this setup, let's see, is because typically you have a plug down here, and if you put a surge protector right here, there's a 2-inch, 1.5-inch gap from right here to the wall, and you have your 2x4s. You can run the surge protector all the way down. You don't necessarily need a plug up here. You can run the surge protector down and connect it there, and because you have a lot of airflow and it's not behind the wall, it's not in between insulation or anything like that, it doesn't violate any codes. This right here, let me show you on the back part. This is how my setup is. Now, we typically we build ours out of birch plywood, but most people build them out of 2x4, so I would add more 2x4s, of course, but just kind of give it a demonstration. I like to tie the 2 long 2x4s together, and that way you can mount the mount right in the middle, and that way whenever you center the TV, it's a lot easier to center it, and you don't have to be putting the mount directly on the wall. You have some shelves here that I added. Of course, you got your PS5, you have your router, you got your remotes right here. Now, of course, if you do 10 inches, that's the thing, you can go a little deeper, but I wouldn't go like 8 because you're limited by the space right here. You have 8 inches of depth. If the TV is about 2 inches, 3 inches, then you have only about 5 inches of space, 5 or 6 inches. Now this is enough to fit of course, your router, and then you got your PS5 remotes. And if you want fix like an Xbox, that's a little deeper. So what we do is you can actually put that one directly. That's why I like to have this opening. You can put that directly on the wall. For a shelf, you can put something a little deeper there. Of course, if you have more electronics, you have a receiver, anything like that. If you have a soundbar, you want to put a receiver, you can go deeper. You can probably go about 12, 14, 16 inches. I wouldn't do anything more than 16 inches because it looks too bulky. But let's see, it's basically the setup there. Now this is, like I said, this is an 8-foot tall ceiling. Now if you're doing 9 feet, this is 9 feet right here. Then this one, you can do the same dimensions, the same height. You can do the same thing. You can do 36, and it still looks fine. 8 inches from the fireplace, from the floor. Soundbars are the same. Now, if you don't mind the TV being a little higher, because typically you don't want the TV that high, you can go 2 inches taller, and it looks a little more proportional. But of course, like I said, your TV is going to be a little higher. But you have 38 inches there. Same thing with you raised the fireplace as well. You raised it to 10. Basically, everything went up about 2 inches. And then if you have a 10-foot tall ceiling, you can do that same setup, and it looks nice. As you can see here, it's a 10-foot tall setup right there. So I would do that for 10 feet tall. Now, if you do plan to add a mantle, as over here, like I have it over here, I do recommend raising the TV even more. Otherwise, your mantle will look a little strange being really low. This one we decided to go up 8 inches from the other side. So let's see if I can get it over here. There we go, 46 inches. Because over here was 38. So raise it 46. I typically don't recommend lower than 46, maybe even 45. You can get away with it. But otherwise, like I said, otherwise your mantle is gonna look really strangely low. If you have a full motion mount, which of course you basically need to have a full motion mount so that way you can recess the TV into the frame. You can actually tilt the TV just slightly so that when you're sitting down, you're not looking up so high. But that's my recommendation if you are gonna add a mantle. But typically, I like this setup. I kind of like it without a mantle. Or one last thing, as far as a mantle, this is the 10-foot. I think this is a 10-foot. Let's see. Yeah. One last thing, if you do the mantle, then I do recommend you're probably gonna have to get someone to custom build a mantle, or I'm not sure if they sell one this size, because the TV is so big. You want the mantle to be at least as wide as your TV opening. Remember, the TV opening is 90 inches. It's basically what you want. You want the same thing, 90 inches. Typically, it'll be a little wider, but as wide as your TV opening. That's the minimum I recommend. And over here, you keep the dimensions the same. You bring down a foot. This is 9 feet. It still looks pretty proportional. I like the way it looks. So